Yeah. So just talk about how you've been involved with Sahayeta, raising funds, working 24/7 to build team in the ground in Nepal and in India.
So I'm not sure if you're familiar, but what we're trying to do with the Sahayeta effort, we're close to raising $100,000 right now, and really, we're not a disaster relief organization. We started doing educational programs in Nepal, but the need was sort of overwhelming, and the Bay Area community, actually, the Nepalese community, sort of reached out to us and asked us to kind of step in and really pull our efforts together. There are large donors who are going to be in Nepal and active for the next few months, but our strategy really is to be there long term and stay away after the donors have left the country. So we are kind of engaged in more like at a very grassroots level, and doing small interventions and working in two areas which is the most affected right now, one being Singapalchok and the other Dadin. So that's where we'll focus most of our efforts. And our goal really with the money that we are raising is to empower small organizations who are doing good work, youth organizations, and we'll be focusing on, and I think everybody will talk a little bit about those areas, but that's what our relief efforts really been about.
Yeah. So Mukhia, tell us about your experience trying to raise funds and being on operational levels, bringing this effort to a next degree.
It's been overwhelming and also quite gratifying just to go through that and just to see a lot of raw emotions come out since the earthquake hit Nepal. So I think it's really brought us, all the volunteers from Sahayeta, together, and it's also quite empowering and gratifying to see so much support that we've gotten from our broader Nepalese community, from the Indian community, and just our local Bay Area community. So I mean, what started as like I said, a lot of raw energy to say we got to help people out there, and we need to raise some funds. And in the past, we raised funds that were probably, let's say 10,000. That would have been a bit of a stretch goal. And I think one of our volunteers, Munsha, spit it out. Let's say $100,000, just for the heck of it. And I think we're going to hit that probably today, if not tomorrow. So thanks to all of you. As far as, I think it kind of organically developed, right? So, and I think we've had to also kind of develop our processes and structure so that we can deliver on those promises. So what that meant was we had to kind of step back and be clear on what our priorities are, because there's a lot of people going into Nepal, there's a lot of money being thrown to big organizations, so we had to step back and say, how do we make the most impact, low cost, high impact sort of a model to serve those communities. So we've kind of broken our services that we want to provide into three key sectors, and I'll kind of just broadly touch on those. First is obviously we want to provide immediate relief in short term. So basically we're talking about shelter, water, and medicine, right? And we're actually sourcing a lot of those here, if not in India, to provide those on the ground on those two districts that Srijana touched on. We were working, 10, 12 hours a day. I was up till 4 last night, and I know a lot of you were too, because I got emails coming back. So it's been a roller coaster ride, but I think we do that with passion and the need to serve people, those who are in need, and to ease some of the pain and suffering that we've got there. With that being said, I think we've got a lot of work ahead of ourselves, even though I know we're going to exceed the $100,000 mark without a doubt. I think that brings in a lot more responsibility, and I think it's a challenge and an opportunity for us to grow as a nonprofit, and also to reach out and do a lot of good work back home.
Thank you, Mukhia. So Vivesh, we could talk about your experience with connecting with the grassroots level back home, being on computer 24/7. I don't think you've slept much. And then perhaps around the Jasta Pata and how that's being delivered. And then how community coming to us saying this is what we need.
So I'm just going to add on what Srijana and Mukhya just said, when we started this, the relief efforts, we said, let's focus on immediate relief, which is, there's immediate relief need right now, and there's long-term relief efforts too that we have to work on. So for the immediate relief stuff, we were actually approached by community members from this village called Dhading, and they said, there's a lot of need of tents right now because most of the homes have been destroyed. It's raining. We need like some place to just be dry. But then the tents are going to be used and thrown out when the real, building starts, right? So they said, can you guys come up with like, some funds so that we can get those, we call in Nepal Jastapata, which is basically corrugated zinc tops or roofs on like houses. If we can get that, we can start building homes right now, like just some shelter so that we can, stay dry. And when the real rebuilding starts, we can just reuse them. So in a way, not wasting money. And we said, yeah, that's a very good idea, and let's get on this right away. So that's one side, one part we are working on. For medical supplies, we have a local partner here, MedShare, and we have worked with them before as well. And I was there today all day sorting medicines. We got about 12 boxes, about 350 pounds, and they've promised us to give us 2 more pellets. It's called pellets, like it's about 300 to 400 pounds. So we are probably going to have about 1,000 pounds of medical supplies that's going to be shipped out of here sometime early next week, and it's all free of cost. Like shipping is free, the medical supply is free. So those are the 2 things that we are immediately working on.
How many homes will those support again?